Alrighty, so it's 2 o'clock. We'll get started on our webinar today. And what we're going to be running through is our maintenance workflow. My name is Amanda. I'm going to be your host for today. We also have William, who is part of our panelist. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pop it in the webinar chat and he'll be able to answer all of your questions. He's highly experienced in Console Cloud and will be able to attend to any of the questions that you have. Now, part of today's webinar is we're going to be running through creating maintenance requests, managing your requests and work orders. We're going to talk about linking your bills and closing off your work orders through bills, and also having a look at some reporting. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping. Again, that if you do have any questions, you can please feel free to pop it in the chat at any time, and we'll be able to assist you with those questions. Now, the session will run for approximately 35 to 45 minutes, so you will get time back in your day today. So let's get started. So just a little bit of an introduction into maintenance and maintenance workflows. And also before I continue on, we will ask some questions out to the group. So feel free to add in your answers within the chat. So managing maintenance is essentially, but often can be time consuming. So Console Cloud can streamline this by centralizing your requests through your workflow and giving you full visibility from start to finish. This way, nothing slips through the cracks and you can keep tenants and owners in the loop with ease. Prior to getting started into the maintenance workflow, there are a couple of I guess, system settings that you would probably want to have a look at if you haven't already. So we'll have a look at some configurations with maintenance. There's two simple sections in the settings that we can look at, and then we'll also have a look at some templates. So on the left-hand side under settings, just scroll down to Office. Click on Office, and we're just going to scroll down to the maintenance drop down here. So if I just select on that, if these are grayed out, you might want to come into your Office settings and turn them on. When you turn them on, this particular setting will show key numbers on all of your work orders, and this setting will show all details on work orders or your PDF work orders, and then simply come and click Save. So it's something that you might want to look at reviewing. The second thing that we would want to have a look at is our templates. So if we, in the same section here under settings, click on templates, click on filters, and under the category, we want to click in our maintenance request and apply. So these templates can give you the ability to easily communicate with your owners and keep tenants across the progress of when maintenance has been submitted. So you'll have these two most likely within the system already. And if you wanted to look at reviewing these maintenance requests, you can click on the three dots and click on Edit. So this will give you the ability. So this is a maintenance template for request for approval. You can see the subject line and then the body of the email. If you wanted to come in and start editing this particular message, when you click in the body of the email, down below, it will give you additional merge fields that you can update. And once you've reviewed that, you can click Save. You can also toggle this slider here to show what that example of that template will look like. So you've got these two in the system where you can click on the three dots and edit. Another suggestion is having additional templates set up so you can easily communicate to your owners and keep the tenants, again, updated throughout the maintenance request. And how you would add in a new template is simply up on the top, the blue button, click Add New. What you'd like to do then is select the channel and how you would like this communication to be sent, whether it's via email or SMS. Who the recipient is. In this example, I'm going to create a template for a tenant advising that we've sent off a work order. So this recipient for this example is going to be tenant. The template name will be work order sent tenant. And the category, we're going to select it under maintenance request. Under the subject email, now here we can, again, pop in additional merge fields. What I'm going to pop in for the subject is work order sent, and I'm going to look for the property address merge field, and that's what's going to be in my subject line. For the body of the email, I'm just going to copy and paste a template that I created earlier, but where it says hi, tenant name, you'd simply just come down to the merge field, find the merge field where it says tenant name, and insert that within the body of the email. You can also add in your office number, name, contact, etc. by just adding in those additional merge fields and then clicking save. So now we have our work order template that has been created. So in future, when we get into creating work orders, we can use this particular template to inform the tenant that the work order has been sent. So I'm going to ask the group, there's no right or wrong answers here, but have any of you added in additional templates within your template section for maintenance? If you just want to pop that in the chat. So have any of you added in any additional maintenance templates that you currently use within your workflows? If you haven't, that's great. Today's session is, giving you that reminder. Yep, some of you haven't used it. That's absolutely fine. Maybe now this is a section here where you can add in some new templates to help communicate. So that's awesome. Thank you. The next part of your maintenance is obviously making sure that you've got your creditors in the system. So having your creditors ready to go in your system will make life easier when you do receive those maintenance requests. We're going to talk about how you can add in creditors within your system. So if we just come up to people on the left-hand side and click on creditors. Now, this is going to give you your creditors list. And as you can see in the creditors list that I have here, I've got their name, the reference, their phone number, the dissection. We've got our bill priority, which we'll come to when we are adding in our bills. We've got our license and insurance expiry. So when I demonstrate how to add an creditor in the system, you're going to see these two items as well. And what that gives the ability for you to do is under this filter by insurance, if you wanted to have a look at any of your tradespeople or creditors that have insurance that has expired and you would like to communicate out with your clients, you can. Any that are coming up for expiry within 30 or 60 days, you can filter through their insurance expiry. What you can do if you wanted to bulk communicate out with your clients, you can select, say, these two. I don't have any license or expiry information for these clients. I can select the creditors and I can come down to the bottom, click create message. And we've got these messages that are in the back end of your templates. Again, you can reword these templates if you wanted to. But if you wanted to request, insurance certificates, you could, or a reminder to return them if you haven't already sent one, and also with their compliance. You also have a blank body email that you can send out to your creditors. So I'll just deselect those. And let's have a look at adding in a creditor. So up on the right-hand side in the Add New button, I'm going to add in a new creditor. So we're going to add in ABC Plumbing. We've got their ACN and ABN number if you've got those. Who the authorised person is, so who we'll be contacting, their position. We're going to add in their mobile number. If you have any call notes, so sometimes tradespeople might say, please only SMS. I respond to SMS only. You can write that call note in there. Adding in their email address, their website if you have that, and if you do have an emergency contact, you can add that in there. Simply come in and create contact and save and next. Now we want to add in our creditor's reference. So I might just put here ELI for Eli. And we've got our bill priority here. So if we select this, we can add in in which order we would like any invoices that come from this particular creditor, in which order we would like them to be paid, whether they're high priority, medium, or low. This person's going to be a plumber, so I'm just going to pop them in as medium. But when we do get to the bills, if that is a particular bill that you want to get paid as a high priority, you can change that within the bill. Here we've got our license information, some license numbers. You can see that I've got some information already pre-filled out, and I'm just going to, for the training purposes, pop in that the insurance has expired. We can add in the insurance, or that's their license. We're going to add in who they're insured with and their policy expiry. So just put 12th of the 11th next year. The dissection. So if I just type in plumbing, I can add in plumbing there. We've also got our bank details. I'm just going to pop in check, which you can add in BPay or EFT. How they would like their statement to be delivered and their services. So in this case, we have a plumber and any additional notes that we would like to add. You can see this step here. If this plumber is a plumber that you consistently use and they're your preferred plumber, you can set them as your preferred creditor. Simply come down below and click create. So now we've created ABC Plumbing. We can see all of the details here that we've just added into the system, and down below, if there were any funds, once funds start being transacted, you'll be able to see that there. Up on the top, you've got your transactions. So once bills start getting paid to your creditors, you'll be able to find your transactions there. And if you'd like to add any notes for this particular tradesperson, you can add in notes also. We'll come back to notes in another section. If I come back to my people and creditors, I can see now that this creditor here has been added into my system. The other thing that we're going to run through is with your owners and having spend limits on your owners. So against an owner, I can configure the maintenance instructions and owner's spend limits so that when I create and manage, when I create a maintenance request, I will be able to clearly see any instructions for the particular property. So if I just come down to people and owners, we're going to use Harry Styles today as my owner. Now, when you're creating your owner, you may see this, this pop up here under maintenance when you're creating that particular maintenance, or when you're creating that owner. If, for example, down the road, if you haven't popped this information in against your owner, and the owner calls you and says, look, please don't call me after 2 o'clock, go ahead with any maintenance that is under 1,500, you can find your owner, click on edit. On the left-hand side, we're going to jump straight into maintenance, and I'm going to add in my maintenance limit there. I used to be a property manager, and I had owners that used to not allow us to spend any money and wanted to be called for every single maintenance. So this is where I would have been able to pop in my instructions. So please call only if maintenance is over $1,500. And we're going to save that there. So any special instructions, you can come find your owner, click on edit, click on maintenance and add in your maintenance instructions there. Excellent. Now let's run through the process of maintenance in cloud. There are several ways maintenance can be entered into the system. You have recurring jobs that you can enter. There's maintenance that's created directly in cloud by property managers. And then there's also the maintenance that's submitted via the Go Inspect app and when conducting inspections. Any maintenance that have been submitted from tenants will appear as a notification up on this little section here under the bell if you've got any tenants who have submitted any maintenance. So that's just a couple of things that we can have a look at there for maintenance there. So I'm going to ask the crowd. There's two places where you can find your maintenance workflows. Does anyone want to pop in the chat where I would go, or if you know where I would go to have a look at my maintenance workflows? Excellent. Yep. So under properties, residentials, thank you, Kathy. That is one place here where I can definitely find my maintenance workflow here. So what you can do, you can change the order of your workflow. So if maintenance is something that you want to see at the forefront, you can simply drag and drop that to the front and click apply. And if I also go to my dashboard, just click into that there. I can rearrange and change my widget order. So if I want maintenance right up on the top, I can click apply and I can see my maintenance widget. If I click into this from my dashboard, it's just going to take me exactly where we were before to the maintenance workflow. So within the maintenance workflow, you can access all maintenance and use filters to flip between maintenance and different statuses, whether it's recurring maintenance or if maintenance has been recorded via tenant app, for example. So up the top, you can interact between different portfolios if you wanted to. You can filter by the subject, address, or reference. You can filter. So if I just wanted to have a look at all of my new maintenance, I can select on new, any quotes that have been in progress or any work orders sent, any work orders that have been completed or tenant app. And you can also filter through dates. What I like about this as well is that if I wanted to have a look at any of my closed maintenance, I can select close and I can see all of my closed maintenance requests there. So let's work through and add in a maintenance. Excuse me. We'll add in a new maintenance request. So I'm just going to come up on the right-hand side to add new, and we're going to start creating a maintenance request. So let's have a look at this one here, 238 Flinders Lane. My landlord is Harry Styles. If I'd want to create a recurring maintenance, all I would do is just simply select the button recurring maintenance, select how often I would like this maintenance to take place. Could be gutter cleaning or gutter cleaning is probably one that would be recurring, and then you would work through your maintenance request as normal. For this demonstration, we're just going to do a plumbing issue. The date it was reported and who it was reported by, so I'm going to pop in the tenant. We also have our priority, whether it's a routine, urgent, or emergency maintenance. We can select who we would like the tradesperson to contact for access, or if they need to pick up keys from the office, I can select that button there. We'll pop in the subject, and we're going to pop in our description. So tenant reported that there is a leak from the ceiling. Of course, as you know, as property managers, we want to give as much description as we can. Tenants reported that there is a leak from the ceiling in the bathroom. Add that in there. If you do have any photos, you can upload any photos into this as well. And then we're going to simply click create request. Now we have our maintenance request created. You can see here we've got who and what the issue is, who it was reported by, and you can see I've got my spend limit instructions here from the owner, which is really good. From this particular point, up on the top here, I've got my message button here. So if I click on message, and if I want to message the owner, I can click on message the owner. I can select a particular template. So maintenance request for approval, for example. It will pull through what you've popped in your template. You can upload photos from here and we can click send. So we've sent this approval from the owner. We're going to wait for owner's instructions. Now, with property management, you wear a number of different hats. It's really hard for you to remember every single thing for every property that you manage. So you can see here we've got notes, and up the top you can add in a new note from here as well. So I might want to add in a note, emailed owner for approval. And then you might want to add in any additional notes there and click save. So if you want to keep track of where you're at with your maintenance, you can add in notes in the note section. You can also add in a note from there. Alrighty. So we've sent the approval off to our owners. We're waiting for that to come back. The owner has come back to us, and now we need to create a quote. So we're going to work through quote orders and working that through into a work order. But let's talk about creating some quotes. So just down below here, under request a quote, I'm going to, up on the top, start filling out this particular section here. So ABC, you can see when I created ABC as my creditor, it's popping up as my preferred creditor. So yep, that's who I want to use. Quote due date, really like this done as soon as possible. There's a leak from the ceiling. I can add any additional information in this box, and we're going to send the quote request. This particular owner has requested 2 quotes. So we've already got one in the system. We're going to request another. So let's try this plumber. We want this quote done at the same time, and we're going to send that quote off. At this point, I might want to inform the tenant that I've created a quote for them. So, and that they might be getting phone calls, or that they are going to get 2 phone calls from plumbers. So if I click on message tenant, now I can create, as you know, when we were earlier, I created the work order sent template, but I might want to change this. So this to advise that a work order has been sent for maintenance. I might pop in here, 2 plumbers will be in touch to investigate. And I'm going to click send. I'd come back to my notes, and I might want to add in a new note. Created 2 quotes, advised tenants, and click on save. So the other reason why it might be a good idea under notes, as I mentioned earlier, I do understand property managers, you're wearing multiple different hats and it's hard to remember everything. But if you needed to extract any notes for, say, if this maintenance issue went to one of your tribunals, or you wanted a clear timeline of every time you contacted the creditor, contacted the owner, the tenant, you've got a clear timeline here of what actions you've taken. So if I come back to my maintenance workflow, I can see here I've got my my maintenance request here, and the status is quotes requested. So I'm just going to click back into this one, and we're going to pretend that the quotes have come back. Now, under this particular section here, I'm going to click add quote. Adding in the quote, adding in how much, and I can upload that particular quote that's come through. So I'm just going to choose a random one for this experiment and click add quote. So we've got a quote in for that one, and J&C Maloney have also sent me their quote, and I'm going to pop in how much that quote was, click on browse and add that in there and click add quote. So now we've got our 2 quotes within the system, and we're going to look at approving one of them. So we're going to approve this one simply by just clicking approve. We do have this also the 3 dots here where we can view the request that we have entered in, but at this point I'm just going to approve this quote. So by clicking approved, we're now creating a work order to send to this particular plumber to advise them that they've been approved. So due date, when you would like this work to be done. If it's urgent, it might have been now moved to urgent because they've got a leak in their ceiling. We've got the leak from ceiling as a subject, and then you might want to change the description. Please go ahead with the quote you have provided. Contact. Yep. Okay, we've got here our access. So if we needed to change access for whatever reason, we can, or if we'd like the tradesperson to pick up keys from the office, we can select that. And we're going to send work order. Okay, so once the work order is sent, you will see the work order section of the maintenance request. Fill in with the creditor information, which we can see down here. Now, when we have sent this off, we've got options. So 3 dots, we can revise the work order. So if I click revise work order and say, for example, in the meantime, between the tenant, between the creditor going out to the property, if the tenant had called and said, look, I've also got a leaking tap, you might want to come in and add that in. So please also check leaking tap whilst on site. And then send revised work order. So you've got the ability to do that. If I click on the 3 dots, mark as accepted simply just means that the tradesperson has accepted the job. So we can click as accepted. And if we needed to cancel a work order, we can cancel it from there. If I scroll back to my maintenance workflow, I'm just going to refresh my page. I can now filter. So I've got my work order sent. I'm now going to be managing my work order and my work orders as such. So essentially, again, I can filter through these particular filters if I wanted to. But in this instance, I'm going to have a look. Okay, I've got this work order that's in progress. I've got this one here where quotes have received. This one, the work order has been completed. If I just click back into my maintenance request, if, for example, I needed to complete something that was overdue, or I just wanted to have a quick audit of my maintenance requests. Say, for example, this particular property, we lost management of the property. We no longer need to work on this particular work order. I can close the request from here as well. Just a little bit of tidy up for you if you needed to. So click on the 3 dots, close request. And then close that there. So that then will close a request. Just a bit of tidy up for you to do. Alrighty, so if I come into this particular property here, there's 2 ways we're going to look at our bills now. When closing the maintenance request, you can choose to link the bill to the individual request, or when you upload your bills and you process those particular bills, you have the ability to close off that request, which I'll show you how to do. I'm just going to jump straight into bulk updating your bills if you haven't already and you're not quite sure how to do that. I'll just quickly demonstrate that for you. So under accounts, we've got our bill section. If we click add new, choose file, we can upload particular bills. It will start, the system will start reading your bills. As you can see, it's processing, and here you'll see 1 of 2. So you can start adding in all of your information there, click add next, and it will just continue on. For this webinar, I am going to go back into my maintenance workflow, and I'm going to upload this bill directly from the maintenance workflow. So if I'm just clicking into the property here, and if I scroll down, we've got here, add new bill. So the bill has come from the tradesperson. Okay, so Harry Styles, I can see I've got available funds. Just going to add in ABC Plumbing, add in your description. The dissection, it's recognizing that it's the plumber there. The due date, if we have an invoice number, and what the amount is. So it was $700 from our quote, which is what we're going to go ahead in. Now, down below here, you'll see the bill priority. So the bill priority for ABC was initially medium, but if I needed to change it to high, I can do that whilst I'm here. If we needed to on charge this to a particular tenant for whatever reason, we can click on charge and continue on and on charge that to the tenant. I'm just going to click here, add bill. Now down below here, we've got our bill that has been added. A few steps that you can do in this particular section is clicking on the 3 dots. You can view the bill. Now, if, for example, the owner paid the plumber directly, you can mark this as paid externally, or you can mark it as cancelled. What I'm going to do is just click into this particular invoice. I can see the copy of my invoice there, which is great. I'm going to click on the 3 dots and click view bill, and it's taking us to our bills process. So from here, if we have funds available, I can click on process, transfer, or on charge. In this case, I'm going to process the bill. Just making sure before we process that we have the correct bill on the left-hand side, and we've got the correct information as to how much I'm paying. You'll see this little toggle here where it says close maintenance request. This is what I want to happen, and I'm going to click process bill. So now this has been processed, and up the top you can see that this work order has now been closed. I click on my maintenance workflow. You can see that it's no longer within this workflow, but if I click on my close request, you can see there it is there. So workflows and maintenance is a pretty seamless experience within Console Cloud. You can see there's a couple of questions coming through the chat. Thank you so much. Thank you to Will in answering those. The last part of our webinar, which we're nearly coming to a close, we just want to have a quick chat here about our analytics and some reporting that you can do around your reports with maintenance. So on the left-hand side, if I click on analytics, and up the top here, if I click on reports, I can click on maintenance. Now, you might be thinking, why do I want to have a look at maintenance reports? I guess this is for if you would like to see overall how many maintenance requests you've got in the system, how many maintenance requests you have open. You know, you might question, okay, why is this taking so long to close? What's the hold up here? You know, have I kept in contact with this owner and this particular tenant throughout the process? So what you're going to find is really cool information about how many open requests that you have, any that are under the emergency or urgent. I'm in my test account, so I don't have a lot of data in here at the moment. But here you can see it will start recording your average cost per request, average days to close your requests, and average days open for your maintenance. Now, if I scroll down, one other key thing that I really like that I can see is where the source of my maintenance requests are coming from. So that might be some really interesting analytics for you that you might be interested in reviewing. So that was just under analytics, reports, and maintenance. Now that's the close of our webinar for today. We really hope that you enjoyed this session and that you take away some key points or tips that you may not have thought of before in streamlining your workflows. So have a think about your settings, have a think about some templates that you might like to create, and also just ensuring that you're going into your workflows and closing off any open requests that you might have, cleaning up that data there. Will is going to pop in a short survey if you don't mind having the time to fill out the survey so that we can just gather your feedback on how you found today's webinar. That would be greatly appreciated. And I wish you all the very best. Thank you for joining today.